You're watching DX Recap, the place where we break down movies fast, clear, and spoiler-packed. Whether you missed it, forgot it, or just want a quick refresh, we've got you covered. Let's get into the story. A rescue submarine drifts silently through the darkness near the Philippines. Inside, Jonas Taylor watches terrified survivors scramble through twisted metal while alarms scream through the flooded corridors. Bodies float past him in the freezing water, and every second feels like the submarine is about to collapse. Then suddenly, boom, something massive slams into the hull. The entire submarine shakes so violently that people are thrown against the walls. Another impact follows. Then another. Steel bends inward like paper, and Jonas sees it clearly. A gigantic set of teeth crushing the submarine from the outside. Panic spreads instantly. The rescue team rushes toward the escape vehicle, but the hatch jams shut after the collision. Several crew members are trapped behind it, with seawater flooding in fast. Jonas wants to go back for them, but the mysterious creature outside keeps attacking harder every second. If he opens the hatch now, everyone dies. Faced with an impossible decision, Jonas seals the survivors inside the rescue craft and escapes, leaving the trapped men behind. And from that moment on, everyone blames him for their deaths, especially Dr. Heller. 5 years later, Jonas has completely disappeared from rescue work. Haunted by guilt and branded a coward, he isolates himself in Thailand, far away from the ocean that ruined his life. But while Jonas tries to forget the past, a group of scientists near the Chinese coast are about to uncover something that should have stayed buried forever. On a massive research station called Mana 1, billionaire investor Morris arrives to inspect an experimental deep-sea mission. The station's lead scientist, Dr. Zhong, proudly explains his theory. Everyone believes the Mariana Trench is the deepest place on Earth, but Zhong thinks they're wrong. According to him, a hidden layer of hydrogen sulfide beneath the trench is masking an entirely untouched ecosystem far below humanity's reach, a world no human has ever seen. To prove it, a submersible carrying Lori Toshi and several crew members begins descending into the darkness. As they pass 11,000 meters below sea level, pressure crushes against the submarine like an invisible monster. One mistake down here means instant death. Then they reach it. A strange glowing cloud spreads across the trench floor like a barrier between worlds. The crew slowly pushes through and suddenly emerges into open water beneath the trench itself. An entirely new ecosystem. Massive, unknown creatures drift through the darkness around them. Strange glowing organisms move where sunlight has never existed. Everyone aboard realizes they may have just made the greatest scientific discovery in history, but they also awakened something else. Back at Mana 1, the team releases an ROV probe into the new environment. At first, everything looks normal. Then, the radar detects movement. Something enormous is approaching fast. The signal cuts out instantly. Confused, Lori turns on stronger lights to search for the probe, and something slams directly into the submarine. Communication dies immediately. The crew is stranded 7 miles beneath the ocean, completely alone. Back on the station, panic spreads through the control room. Nobody has ever attempted a rescue this deep. Engineers estimate the trapped crew has less than 18 hours of oxygen left. That's when someone mentions the one man who survived this kind of nightmare before, Jonas Taylor. The problem is nobody trusts him anymore, especially Heller, who still believes Jonas abandoned his team years ago because of hallucinations. But Dr. Zhong isn't convinced. He believes the creature Jonas saw back then was real, and now Lori's crew has encountered the exact same thing. With no other options left, Zhong and Mac fly to Thailand to beg Jonas for help. At first, Jonas refuses immediately. He's done risking lives, done going into the deep, done carrying the guilt of impossible choices. But then Mac shows him the final transmission from the stranded submarine, and Jonas freezes, because the mission pilot, trapped at the bottom of the ocean, is Lori, his ex-wife. Within minutes, Jonas agrees to return. Meanwhile, deep beneath the trench, Lori's crew desperately repairs damaged systems, while the submarine continues leaking oxygen. Every metallic sound from outside reminds them the creature is still nearby, waiting in the darkness. Then the monster attacks again. The impact throws tools across the cabin, and a screwdriver pierces straight into Lori's stomach. As the crew panics, trying to stop the bleeding, Lori finally realizes the terrifying truth. The creature is attracted to light. Above them, Jonas arrives at Manor 1 and prepares for the impossible rescue mission. But before descending, he meets Lori's young daughter, Maying. The little girl looks him in the eyes and asks him to bring her mother home safely. Jonas promises he will, but as his submersible begins sinking into the endless darkness below, he has no idea that the creature waiting for him is not just a monster. It's the largest predator to ever exist on Earth, and it's still alive. The deeper Jonas descends, the more the ocean starts feeling alive. His submersible cuts through total darkness while warning alarms echo around him. Every meter downward increases the crushing pressure outside the glass. One crack, one mistake, and the ocean would crush him instantly. But Jonas keeps going, because somewhere beneath him, Lori and her crew are slowly running out of oxygen. As he approaches the hidden ecosystem below the Mariana Trench, Jonas shuts down every non-essential system and redirects all power to the engines. The sub dives faster than it was ever designed to move, violently shaking from the pressure changes. Then finally, he breaks through the hydrogen cloud and enters the forbidden world below. At the same time, Cyan pilots a rescue glider into the depths, searching for the stranded submarine. Unlike Jonas, she still doesn't fully understand what's hunting them down there, so she makes a terrible mistake. She turns on every external light. The bright beams cut through the darkness like a signal flare. Seconds later, something massive crashes into her glider. The impact spins the vehicle wildly. Thinking she struck a rock, Cyan turns to investigate, and suddenly a giant squid wraps itself around the capsule. Its enormous tentacles squeeze tighter and tighter, bending the metal inward as warning alarms scream. Pressure levels spike dangerously. Glass begins cracking around her. Cyan desperately tries activating the pressure compensator, but the system is failing. She's trapped. Then, without warning, the squid freezes. A shadow larger than the glider itself rises slowly behind it, and in one horrifying bite, the squid disappears. Cyan stares in terror as a prehistoric shark over 70 feet long emerges from the darkness. A Megalodon, the monster opens its jaws wide enough to swallow her entire vehicle whole. Above, Jonas sees the creature on sonar and instantly understands what's happening. He screams for Cyan to turn off her lights, but the damaged system needs 30 seconds to shut down. 30 seconds is too long. The Megalodon charges directly toward her. Thinking fast, Jonas fires emergency flares from his submersible. The blazing light distracts the giant shark just before impact, drawing the creature away from Cyan at the last possible second. Taking advantage of the opening, Jonas orders her to release ballast and return to the surface immediately. Now alone in the darkness, Jonas heads toward Lori's submarine. He finally reaches the damaged vessel and docks beside it, while the crew scrambles to open the hatch. Water floods through the ruined corridors as Jonas pulls the survivors into his rescue craft one by one. But just as Lori escapes, inside, the sonar starts screaming again. The Megalodon is back, and it's coming fast. The overloaded rescue sub barely has enough power to escape with everyone alive. They begin ascending toward the surface, but the giant shark follows close behind them through the darkness like a nightmare that refuses to let go. That's when Toshi makes a devastating decision. Realizing the Megalodon is tracking the sub's lights, he seals himself inside the damaged submarine and activates every external lamp. The glowing vessel instantly grabs the predator's attention. While Jonas escapes with the survivors, Toshi drifts alone into the darkness. The Megalodon lunges forward, and the last thing the crew hears is metal being crushed apart. Back at Manor 1, Laurie is rushed into surgery while Jonas finally comes face to face with Hela again. This time, the doctor can no longer deny the truth. Jonas wasn't hallucinating years ago. The monster was real all along. But while the survivors recover, billionaire investor Morris only thinks about money. Instead of shutting down the operation, he becomes obsessed with controlling the discovery before governments or competitors learn about it. Jonas immediately warns everyone that humanity cannot fight something this powerful, but nobody fully understands the danger yet, until Maine sees it herself. While wandering through the station's corridors, the little girl suddenly stops in front of a giant observation window. Outside, in the darkness, the Megalodon is staring directly at her. Its enormous eye follows her movements while dead whales float nearby in bloody water. Then, suddenly, the shark slams into the station, trying to break through the glass. Everyone rushes toward the child as the creature tears apart whales just outside the facility. That's when the team discovers the horrifying truth. When Jonas passed through the hydrogen layer during the rescue, his sub created a pressure breach, allowing the Megalodon to escape into the upper ocean. Now, the prehistoric predator is loose in modern waters, and it's heading toward heavily populated shipping routes. Soon after, distress calls begin pouring in from destroyed boats nearby. Jonas and the team rush to investigate aboard a research vessel, hoping they can stop the creature before thousands of people die. But when they arrive at the wreckage, the Megalodon is already waiting for them. The giant shark circles beneath the boat, while the crew prepares a dangerous plan to track and kill it. Their idea is simple: inject the Megalodon with enough tranquilizer to stop its heart. The problem: someone has to get close enough to tag it first. And once again, Jonas volunteers. Holding a tracking harpoon, he lowers himself into the freezing ocean surrounded by floating carcasses. Everyone aboard watches silently as he swims farther and farther away from the safety of the boat. Below him, the water grows darker. Then, suddenly, the Megalodon rises from beneath him like a moving mountain. Jonas is less than 30 feet away from the largest shark in history, and the creature has finally noticed him. Jonas floats helplessly in the open ocean, while the Megalodon stares straight at him from below. For a few terrifying seconds, neither of them moves. Then the shark attacks. The massive predator surges upward with unbelievable speed, its gigantic jaws tearing through the water toward Jonas. At the exact last moment, he fires the tracking harpoon directly into the creature's dorsal fin. The mission succeeds. But now, the Megalodon is furious. The crew aboard the ship immediately activates the crane, dragging Jonas back through the water as fast as possible. Unfortunately, the violent vibrations only make things worse. The shark locks onto him instantly. It chases Jonas at full speed, creating a giant wave behind him, while everyone on board screams in panic. The crane cable strains violently as the Megalodon closes the distance inch by inch. Its jaws snap shut just seconds behind him. Closer, closer. Then finally, the crew yanks Jonas onto the boat at the last possible second, while the shark crashes through the water beneath him. Now that they can track the predator, the team prepares their next plan. Cyan enters a reinforced underwater cage, armed with poisoned harpoons, capable of delivering enough tranquilizer to kill the Megalod. At first, the ocean remains quiet. Too quiet. Then every smaller shark around the cage suddenly disappears. The tracker shows the Megalodon approaching rapidly. 50 meters. 30. 10. Without warning, the giant shark slams into the cage from below, bending thick steel bars inward like plastic. Cyan struggles to aim the harpoon, but the Megalodon is smarter than expected. Instead of attacking blindly, it circles around the cage, studying her. Then it strikes again. This time, the monster clamps the entire cage inside its mouth. Steel groans under the pressure, while seawater floods inside. Knowing she's seconds away from being crushed, Cyan fires the poisoned harpoon directly into the shark's mouth. The Megalodon releases the cage instantly. But the violent impact breaks Cyan's oxygen mask. She begins suffocating underwater. Seeing this, Jonas dives into the ocean without hesitation. Guided only by the steel cable, he swims through the darkness toward the sinking cage, while the Megalodon thrashes violently nearby. Finally, Jonas reaches Cyan and pulls her free just before the cage drops into the abyss. But the giant shark turns back toward them. Fast. Too fast. Jonas, desperately, swims upward, carrying Cyan while the Megalodon races behind them like a torpedo. Just before it reaches them, the tranquilizer finally takes effect. The giant predator slows, then sinks motionless into the darkness. The Megalodon is dead, or at least, that's what everyone believes. Back aboard the ship, the exhausted crew celebrates their victory. They even haul the enormous carcass partially onto the vessel, amazed that such a creature could really exist. For the first time since this nightmare began, everyone relaxes, and that's exactly when everything goes wrong. Without warning, a second Megalodon erupts from beneath the ocean and devours the first shark in one monstrous bite. The impact flips the entire boat upside down. People are thrown screaming into the water as the surviving Megalodon circles around them. Panic spreads instantly. Everyone scrambles onto the overturned hull while the giant predator hunts nearby. Dr. Heller sacrifices himself to distract the shark, allowing the others to escape. One by one, the survivors realize the terrifying truth. The first shark wasn't the real threat. It was only a juvenile. The true Megalodon is even larger. Back at Manor 1, Morris finally reveals his real plan. Instead of helping the team, he secretly contacts nobody and lies about military support arriving. In reality, he only wants to destroy the creature before the world learns his company caused the disaster. Taking explosives aboard a helicopter, Maurice hunts the shark alone, hoping to erase all evidence. At first, it looks like he succeeds. Huge explosions erupt across the ocean surface, and whale remains float upward afterward. Morris proudly believes he killed the Megalodon. Then his crew notices something horrifying. The carcass has no giant teeth. They bombed the wrong animal. Before Morris can react, the real Megalodon rises directly beneath the helicopter, and in a single violent attack, it devours both Morris and the wreckage hull. Now completely unchecked, the Megalodon heads toward the worst possible destination, a crowded beach packed with tourists near China's coastline. Thousands of swimmers laugh and play in the water, completely unaware that a prehistoric monster is approaching beneath them. Jonas and the team race toward the bay, desperately trying to stop the attack before it becomes a massacre. But they're already too late. The Megalodon bursts from the ocean without warning, swallowing an entire raft full of people. Panic explodes across the beach instantly. Tourists scream and swim desperately for shore, while the giant shark tears through the water like a living tsunami. One terrified man inside an inflatable ball rolls helplessly across the surface and gets swallowed whole. The beach erupts into total chaos. Using underwater speakers, DJ manages to lure the Megalodon away from the largest crowds for a few moments. Meanwhile, Jonas and Cyan prepare one final attack using their underwater gliders. Missiles fire toward the giant shark, but nothing works. The Megalodon survives every explosion almost completely unharmed. Then disaster strikes again. News helicopters flying overhead collide mid-air while filming the chaos. Burning wreckage crashes directly onto the rescue ship, forcing everyone into the water once more. Underwater, Jonas realizes there's only one way left to kill the creature. He must get close enough to destroy it from the inside. Knowing he may not survive, Jonas turns his damaged glider and charges directly toward the Megalodon alone. The giant predator opens its jaws wide, expecting easy prey. At the final second, Jonas dives downward beneath the shark and uses a broken metal blade attached to his glider to rip open its stomach from below. A massive wound tears across the Megalodon's body, but even dying, the creature strikes back. Its enormous tail smashes Jonas's glider apart completely. Now defenseless. In open water, Jonas watches the wounded Megalodon turn toward him one last time. The shark lunges forward. Instead of fleeing, Jonas grabs the metal spear from the wreckage and swims directly at the monster. Then, with every ounce of strength left, he drives the blade straight into the Megalodon's eye. The giant shark convulses violently before, finally, collapsing lifeless into the ocean. Within moments, hundreds of smaller sharks swarm the corpse, tearing apart the king of predators, piece by piece. And, for the first time, the ocean becomes silent again. Back on the surface, the survivors watch the sunrise together after barely escaping death. Jonas and Sain finally reunite with Maine, while rescue crews arrive across the bay. Everyone believes the nightmare is over, but far below the ocean floor, the darkness still hides secrets humanity was never meant to uncover. And somewhere in those endless depths, something else could still be waiting. And that's a wrap on today's recap. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a plot twist. Got a movie you want recapped? Drop it in the comments below. This is DX Recap. See you in the next one.